This is the paper game midterm by Jack, Mr. Reinbeer, and Megan Boyd. We are Team Q.
The agenda for our midterm is process flow of the paper game, team strategies, team roles, market and rule changes throughout the game, T accounts, and conclusion.
Our team had a couple of strategies. Our first strategy was that we decided to sell paper if the die landed on anything higher than a 3. Also, we made sure to buy paper if the die landed on a 3 or lower. Our second strategy was only to sell paper if the die landed on top 2 selling prices. After running out of paper, we decided to buy 2 sheets of paper every time, no matter the price. When the specialty items came into round 10, we tried to hold out on selling our squares in case our team was called to sell a specialty item so we could sell as many specialty products as possible, making the most profit.
Our team roles differed throughout the game. Jack was the recorder and recorded all paper that was bought and sold throughout the rounds.
Megan was the runner. She oversaw all business transactions and did them correctly with the right materials.
Ryan was in charge of the T accounts in an accounting type role, and he organized and collected all the numbers and prices throughout the game and kept totals of where each asset stayed between cash, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and how many paper squares we had on inventory.
These roles mimicked your everyday business because Ryan acted like an accountant. Jack also had accounting responsibilities, and then Megan oversaw every business transaction, making sure it had the right invoice or check or sales order.
Ryan did slides on the T account and the process flow chart, and also as a project and throughout the game in general, we consulted before any decision we made as a team so that we decided it was either a good or bad decision.
Jack did the strategy slides as well as rule changes.
And Megan did the slides on team roles and conclusion slide. For market and rule changes, the first rule change is we switched to a 6-sided die instead of an 8-sided die to determine the price she could sell paper for.
For rule change number 2, everyone was allowed one specialty product that could be made with any amount of squares of your choosing. If your team was selected at random, they could sell as many specialty products as they wanted for 3 times the market price.
Rule 3, paper could be picked up the same round it was bought. This was very helpful for us since we always bought 2 sheets, and it helped us boost up our inventory a lot, and we always had items to sell and could sell a lot if the price ever was high.
For the rule change number 4 was based on the specialty product, not only 3 times the market price, but also multiplied by how many squares your item was made of. This rule did not help because we only used 1 square.
This is the T account of our accounts receivable, cash, accounts payable, and inventory. Accounts payable became useless once we could get when we didn't need to make purchase orders for paper because we could just pick it up the same round, so we stopped needing to grab that at all. And some of the difficulties with keeping the T accounts where they were kept on paper as well, so it was sometimes a little challenging to make sure they matched on paper and on the computer, and taking accounts from in and out of accounts receivable every time we got paid 2 rounds after we sold paper squares. Our process, the way it works, rounds 1 through 9. Well, in round 1, the buying price was $4. The amount sold was 3 squares. This gave us a profit of $12 to add to our 10 that we already had in cash register. This put a $12 invoice in, and we ended up purchasing $6 worth of paper, which was 2 sheets at $3 a sheet, and put our net worth for round 1 at 16. Round 2, buying price was 6, amount sold was 3. The supplier selling price was 3, and we only bought 1 sheet, which gave us a profit of $18 and a loss of 3, which gave our net worth as $31, also including the 10 in our cash register. In round 3, we got the cash for the invoice from the sales of round 1, as well as purchased 100, or no, this is round 4. And we didn't sell any in round 3. Because we never made money 2 rounds later was when we decided to pick up the strategy to always buy paper, because we came to a point where we never made any money and we needed to make money to obviously keep buying inventory. At round 10 was when the specialty buying price came in, and we could also get paper at the same time as we purchased it. So for round 10, buying price was 5. We sold 0, and the specialty price was 15. But we didn't sell, any, and also it was doubled if you were one of the groups picked, right? And so we ended up in around 11. The buying price was 7. We sold 20. And the specialty buying price was 20, and we sold 9 at the specialty price, giving us a profit of $329, which was our largest profit throughout the game. And we also bought 2 sheets at $3, giving us a $6 loss. Our net worth at this point was $737, and the only other time we sold specialty items was in round 14. It went for 24, and we sold 6 items. And we sold 20 items of regular product at $8 a square, making us a profit of $304 and a loss of 10 for buying 2 sheets at $5 a sheet. Our net worth at the end of round 14 was $1,071. And as the rounds progressed, the 4th rule did not help us at all, because our specialty item, which was an envelope, was only used 1 square to make. So when our group was picked, which it never was multiplied by just 1, and it didn't help us at all. By the end of round 20, our net worth was $1,193, which includes the $10 in the cash in our cash that we started with.
In conclusion, this game, we all found it very enjoyable, and it seemed to help us understand the different parts that go into your everyday business, whether it's buying the correct amount of material to stock up your inventory, or selling at the right market, or when the market price is high, and choosing not to sell when the market price is low. It also helped us understand that bookkeeping is very important, because if you don't record everything that you do, then it's very easy to understand, or to lose track of how much money you're making or how much money you're losing. Our strategy seemed to be pretty successful. We ended up in the top 5 in a class. We were in first at the end of a couple rounds, so that was also good. But overall, it was a very enjoyable game.
Yes. Also, when the 4th rule was implemented, that is kind of what took us out of first place, because since our specialty product only used one square, we could never multiply it by two different multipliers like several other groups, which is when they really started making large profits, and we could only make what the specialty price was and not multiply it by the amount of paper squares used in our specialty product. And that was one of our biggest downfalls. But other than that, I think our group was very successful, and we figured out a good strategy pretty early on, and it seemed to do well for us.